Step 9. May direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. It doesn't say in here except for when to do so would be uncomfortable for me or might cause me to have to pay a price for the damage that I did. It is important for you to be concerned at this point about the damage that you did to others and be willing to do what you can to make amends. Some of those amends might be financial ones, that maybe you stole things from people or you manipulated people into doing something in which they lost money, and you may have to go back and admit to them that you were not honest with them, and because of your dishonesty it cost them money, whether that was directly stealing things from them, stealing money from them, or manipulating them out of money that was to support your drug lifestyle. You need to go back and admit to those things and take care of it. And along the way, that many of those people will end up offering you forgiveness, and that forgiveness will let them be free of holding on to the resentment, the anger, the mistrust that they're carrying as a result of what you did. So hopefully they'll do that for themselves. You have to also have some ability to forgive yourself, and so it is very important to make amends where you can, and then that leaves the door open for you to say, now that I've done that, I can let that go. I don't have to carry the guilt of that. I can forgive myself for having done that in the first place. So if you think of it as that when you're in your addiction, you are locked to the drugs, but anyone who still loves you and allows you to use them, and they enable you by taking on the consequences of the behaviors that you have, they support you, and it's because they love you and they unconditionally love you. But you can unconditionally love someone and still set a limit to say, I'm not going to enable you anymore though. So when you want to live a lifestyle that I can support by being in recovery and abstaining from the drug use and living according to better values, I'm here for you. In the meantime, I love you unconditionally, but I don't want to be around you or see you or have contact with you until you've made a decision to change your life. So that when you unlock the key from yourself, it's important to go get in contact with those other people and unlock their shackles too, because they're carrying baggage as a result of their own dysfunction of being an enabler to you, but also you had a lot to do with them being an enabler, and for them carrying baggage of now they're feeling anger, fear, and mistrust, and that's a part of the inventory they're carrying into the rest of their life and in the rest of their relationships. And it's not okay for you just to kind of go, I'm going to take care of me still, and I don't have to worry about you. It's important for you to care about other people, and especially to go back and fix damage that you created. So that's where the step comes in of all of these other steps that we've done about taking an inventory and making a list of people who we need to make amends to, and all that is preparing us for step 9. This is the point where a lot of people go back into a relapse, that up to this point they didn't actually, maybe some did, I did early on, start making amends, but if you didn't, then at this point you're like, at least those big amends that are hard to make and those big forgivenesses. In my case, again, I was physically and sexually abused, and by this point I had understood I needed to have a lot of forgiveness for those people who were abusive to me, and that so when I got to this step, it was easier for me to be able to go and meet with those people and say, what you did was, affected my life and for many years, and I have been able to work through that and let go of it, and this is kind of my final step in this, is to say that I'm going to forgive you, and I've actually forgiven you in my heart already, but I'm telling you now that I forgive you, and I hope that you can do some of your own personal work and forgive yourself. And some of the people said, I don't know what you're talking about, that never happened, and were not able to be honest with themselves or with me and accept that. Other people said, thank you very much for forgiving me. Other people who I made amends to. Some of them said, well, I'm still angry with you and I don't want to see you again, so thank you for paying me back this money or for apologizing, but I don't want to ever see you again. And other people were able to say, thank you so much for coming and making your amends and talking to me, and I forgive you. And so again, that, you know, when I went to do this step, I found it very freeing, not only for me but for the other person, and that part of it is to care about the other person. But whether they accept it or not, I needed to do it for myself too. So it's both me and them. So resentments is a big part of what we're holding on to. And again, old saying in the program that you know, when it comes to resentments, it's better to give than to receive. So when you're a using addict, you think, well, you know, if I do things and other people resent me, that's their problem. I don't care. So it's better to give a resentment than to receive one. But when you get into recovery, you start to go, yeah, I need to go back and clean up my trash that I've left, you know, in my life. I've damaged a lot of people, and I need to go back and take care of that. So resentments are like a waste of time. It's your time that's being wasted. Every minute that you're holding on to a resentment, you're giving into the carrying that baggage of that resentment and that mistrust and the anger and the fear that goes along with that resentment. So if you had a bag of money and there was $60 in the bag, and someone reached in the bag and grabbed $1 and ran away, would you run after them, grabbing the other money out of the bag and continue to throw that money at them? Probably not. So you might start to chase them, but then if they were too fast in getting away, you would just go, okay, that's unfortunate, but I still have $59. So when you continue to chase somebody who grabs that resentment, who gives you a resentment, and then you continue to chase after them with anger, fear, mistrust, and you carry that into your life and into your other relationships and your job and all the other things that you do in your life, it's as if you're chasing them and throwing more minutes after them. That if each one of those dollars represents a minute in your life, within an hour you've thrown $60 at the person. If you continue to do that for a whole day, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. You've just wasted that much time. If you valued your minutes like money in a year, there is over 500,000, 585,600 minutes in a year. And if you keep that for a decade, you add another zero and it's 5,856,000 minutes that you are continuing to chase that person with a resentment and allowing it to affect your life. So they're no longer probably even thinking about it unless they get into recovery and they go back and do an inventory. Otherwise, they forgot about the thing that they did that caused you to have a resentment and carry that through for the next day, week, month, year, decade. So it's not even bothering them anymore, but you're still carrying the resentment around. So it's a waste of your time. You should do something to try to let it go. And the way that you let go of resentments is you have forgiveness. And until there's forgiveness, you're going to probably carry that resentment. So what's your life worth? You can let go and let God, or you can continue to just throw money after that person or into a fire and let it burn. So